have a beautiful guest with us today. I have had the opportunity to work with her, and I'm excited to continue working with her. Her name is Gwen Bernardo, and she's the founder and the owner of Performance Myofascial Release. Did I say that all correctly?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. And as a myofascial release therapist and pain reduction specialist, she helps men and women release functional limitations, right? So think about gaining flexibility, more importantly, reduce their levels of pain. I suffer from a lot of chronic headaches and migraines and some back issues, and we're starting to work through all those things, and it's been really exciting. So what's neat is she's not just like, let's just fix and be done. Like, she creates these lasting results, right? It's not just a one time, let's fix this thing and then you're great for life. Like, she works with you to gain that continued results that I think a lot of us really need. I think a lot of us are really impatient, right, when it comes to getting there. But she gets results. People are going back to living their full lives, which is really cool. Her mission is to help people get out of pain and understand really how fascial restrictions impact their overall health. We're going to talk about that, like kind of the science behind it. What is fascia? All those things, so you guys can understand some of the language that we'll be using today. But it's really cool what is possible with myofascial release. And like I've always mentioned to our audience, I don't often have people on my podcast that I haven't worked with, or I haven't had a close friend or family member or someone strongly recommend. And so I love to have experts on our show who I can, say, hey, this is my friend, I've worked with them, and then let's listen to how smart they are, right? So let's talk about MFR, right? You might start hearing this kind of become a little bit more trendy, those myofascial release. Like, so why don't you just give us the lesson, what it is, and we'll go from there.
Well, thank you for your kind introduction and having me on your show. I'm super excited to chat with you today about myofascial release and what fascia is and why it's important to see someone like me. So fascia is actually our connective tissue, and there is fascia from the tip of your head down to the bottom of your feet and everything in between. Fascia is it's in your organs, it's your muscles, it's your tendons, it's your bones. And what happens over time is that we develop restrictions due to injuries, due to emotional disturbances. Things change, and what should be a fluid system can get stuck in certain places, and that'll show up as pain, possibly in the same place and possibly in different places. And so that's one of my favorite parts about myofascial release, is that we're going to treat the symptom of where your pain is, but we're going to work together to actually find the cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And I love how even like in our last appointment, our last session, you're like, okay, where are you feeling that? What's next? And I'm like, and you have to sink into your body, right? And be like, well, actually, I'm like feeling it here. And you're like, great, we're going to go there and work on there to kind of get to that root cause. So I thought in the past that I had received a myofascial release like session. And it wasn't until you were like, well, you're going to get a true myofascial release session, right? Because as I explained it to you, you're like, well, that just sounds more like massage. What's the difference? And obviously there's a huge difference. I went and I was like, yeah, this is completely different. So what's the difference between MFR, like myofascial release, and massage or like PT or chiropractic work?
Well, thank you for asking. That's a great question. So, massage is wonderful, and I'm not disparaging massage at all, but that is a really good feel good treatment. And
Yeah.
it's very surface level. And that's why sometimes if you get a massage, you'll feel good the next day. And then all of a sudden you go back to feeling the way you were, is because it isn't actually dealing with the fascial restrictions, which is what people who practice myofascial release, we do. We don't use oil. We don't use lotion. We don't glide around the body. We actually find one place on the body, sink in and stay in one place for 5, 10, 15 minutes. And that's the difference, is that we use a time and a pressure element that just isn't utilized in other therapies. And that's another thing, is that this is a therapy. So the goal is to get you out of pain, get you feeling better, getting you going on your way, and not have to, feel like you're dating me and seeing me constantly. Like,
Sure.
we have a set amount of time we work together. you learn how to treat your own fascial system, and then as as things pop up, we take care of it. But no, this is to hopefully get you on your way and healthy and back to living your life.
Yeah. Like you don't plan on having a a client forever, kind of like my chiropractor, right? Like I've been seeing her for 15 years and then she retired. And I'm like, well, now what am I supposed to do? And my friend was like, shouldn't she have like helped fix the problem and then you go living your life and it has not something you have to like rely on every other week? And I was like, that's a really good point. Right? It's
So
a
yeah,
really good
that
point.
that that is the goal, is to help you get over that, get you to a maintenance program. And then,
Yeah.
I like to say to my clients, you might feel like in the beginning, because we're going to do a lot of treatment in the beginning to get you stabilized, you're going to feel like we're dating, but I promise we're really not. And eventually you'll get the tools to be able to treat yourself.
I love
That
that.
is my other goal, is to empower people to maintain their health. And then
Yeah.
if you need a touch up, we continue on with that.
Sure.
So
Sure. I love that. We a lot of my audience is, pregnant moms, moms with babies, young children, kiddos. Is something like this safe for pregnant women? I remember, I think it was last week, watching some videos on MFR in babies, and they were doing a lot of like craniosacral type work. What Tell us a little bit more about that when it comes to like pregnant women and when it comes to like babies and kids and how that benefits them.
sure. Well, the type of myofascial release that I practice is called the John Barnes method, and it's very, very gentle. And so it is 100% safe for pregnant women and for babies. As far as babies go, it can help with torticollis, it can help with latching, because sometimes their jaws get very tight,
Mhm.
and we're able to help them release. And we want to get on top of fascial restrictions, you know, from going through the birth canal. That can be
Mhm.
very traumatic, or having a C-section. Just, being smushed in the uterus can cause fascial restrictions. And for pregnant gals, 100%, we're going to make more room in your abdomen, more room for your baby. Um, as a matter of fact, one of my pregnant clients, she was so funny. She's like, every time you work, you make more space. My baby just kicks more, moves more,
They're like, there's
you know,
more room to party.
exactly, stretches out. And so, one of the things that is really important for pregnant women is to have a balanced pelvis, to make it
Mhm.
easier to have a natural birth. And so, what can happen when you're pregnant is the baby, as you know, is moving around, and your ligaments and tendons are looser. And so, your
Mhm.
pelvis can get out of balance. So, that's one of the things we're always working with in pregnant women, is making sure that their pelvis is balanced so that they can have an easier birth.
Wow, that's really cool. One of those things I wish I would have known when I was pregnant with all three of my babies. That's fascinating. So how does that, how I'm like imagining where, the uterus, where a baby lives, when you talk about creating more space, what is being moved around to kind of create more space? Like I want to send you my pregnant friend who she has 3 months left and she's on the shorter end. And she's like, I still have 3 months left, but she looks like she's due. And I was like,
Yeah.
you need more space. Like she's like having a hard time breathing as is. So what happens like in the body? What is being, I don't know, I guess I'm just fascinated, but in the science behind it, like what's being moved around to kind of create that space for those, for those babies.
So, fascial restrictions, and again, I want to stress how gentle this is. This is
Yeah.
not like stretching you out like you're going to feel like you're on a
No.
rack. It's not like that
Yeah.
at all. But we can make more room just by loosening the fascial restrictions in the abdomen. We
Okay.
make more room in the pelvic bowl.
Mhm.
The hips are able to just, I mean, micrometers can make a huge difference. And the restrictions. We make more room in the pelvis. We make more room between the iliac crests, which are your hips.
Mhm.
And um, we can make more room in the legs. Again, it's where people hold their fascial
Sure.
restrictions. And so we're just loosening that up. I also have people tell me all the time that they feel taller when they
Mhm.
get off the table. And I know after I had 2 weeks of this work done, um, I did get 3 hours a day for 5 days a week for 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I did get a bunch of treatment in a short amount of time. I actually did get half an inch in my spine back.
Oh my
And to this
god.
day, I've maintained it. Yeah.
Wow.
So shows you how powerful fascial restrictions can be.
Yeah. I mean, after our appointment, I mean, you worked on my left hip to create more space, right? Because I was uneven, and even going into my chiropractor, um, I think it was that week or like a week, maybe 6 days later, and she's like, "Oh, you're looking pretty good," and I was like, look at me looking pretty good." Because normally I'm like, I'm kind of a mess, and I was like, I got MFR. Yay me. And so and
Yay,
that was like literally after
one
seeing a chiropractor
session.
forever, one session,
Yeah.
really like you're laying there and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Is it doing something? Is it not? Because I'm used to like if I want a massage and I want to be like dug into, I want to just like feel it. And it's not necessarily, great for you, but that's how I always felt like I was getting something out of it. If you're just like digging into those knots, you know what I mean? And so walking out of there, I was like fascinated. I was like, just these subtle but precise, right? Like movements and adjustments make a big difference. Who knew? Who knew? I know now. So when we talk about scar tissue, like when you and I met, we went over like, any surgeries, any trauma or whatever. So so you know what to address when it comes to scar tissue. So moms with C-sections, right? Episiotomies, that sort of thing. Does it help with that? I know some moms are like, I don't even have feeling anymore in this area, or I'm, have issues because the healing didn't quite heal right, is what they kind of is the language that I often hear. And how does myofascial release help with that?
So, when you have a scar, like a C-section, as anyone who's had one knows, that is a major surgery.
Yeah.
And even though it might be beautiful on the outside and tidied up, what's happening underneath is it looks like a roots from a tree. And those
Mm,
are all fascial restrictions going into different areas of the body. And I've worked with women who've had headaches from C-scar, from cesarean section scars, that once we release that, it opens up space and the headaches go away. The back
interesting.
pain goes away. The way the myofascial release works is, again, because it is so gentle, we just work on loosening up those restrictions caused by the surgery. Again, if you picture the root system of a tree, slowly but surely releasing those, you may find that it's easier to bend. You don't have to pee when you laugh,
Mm,
or um, any of the other issues that come up with the C scar. I mean, I just keep going back to the gal with the headache and how it changed because everyone was treating her head and no one was looking
yeah.
elsewhere for the cause.
Yeah.
And we talked about the fact that she had a C-section and we worked on that. I think it took 3 treatments and it made such an improvement in her life. Like her life changed.
Wow.
And it was all just because of a C-section
Yeah.
scar.
That's insane. I think we forget we're everything's connected, right? And that's what you talk a lot about with fashion. Like we is all connected. So just because something hurts here doesn't mean it's not coming from how you're walking. You know what I mean? Because it's all connected. So I love how you go after the different areas that it might be coming from, right? Um, so I was talking to my sister-in-law the other day because I'm finishing my book, and we talk a lot about well, a little bit of everything, but on our feeding chapter, um she was like, remember that time when I got mastitis and it was during the family reunion and I was like a mess and feverish and this and that. And they talk about compresses and massage and this and that. I remember mom during one of our Mommy Me Fitness classes had one. And I was like, I know there's a protocol. And I called like our doula on call in our community and asked her, should she be applying ice? Should she be applying heat? Like, if she had an ice pack shoved in there? And I was like, I don't think that's okay. We've heard a bunch of different remedies, different things you can do. I feel like MFR solves a lot of issues. Can you talk more on how this type of work can help with mastitis or clogged ducts? A lot of time clogged ducts can lead to mastitis. I know massaging, I remember when I wasn't producing very much, I was like massaging the heck out of it just to try to pump an ounce more. Um, it's helpful, but I wonder, based on your expertise, what more can be done?
Absolutely. So this work, again, because your fascial system is from your head to your toe, your breasts are fascia and they get restrictions.
Mm,
And clogged ducts are something that are actually pretty easy to remedy
mm,
with the work and the tissue manipulation. And we even have something called the nipple pull,
mhm.
um, where you work on the breast tissue and it, like you said, massage, you're massaging it, it feels better, but this is the actual releasing the restrictions.
Yeah.
And so and we sit you in different positions, we work on the table, we work sitting, we will have you bend over to really help release all of those restrictions and help your body heal itself, because that's
Yeah.
basically what we're doing, is having your body heal itself and clean those ducts out and express you know, the stuff that's stuck in there. My brain just stopped for a second.
Express the
But
stuff
yes,
that's
the
stuck in
breast
there.
stuff that's stuck.
Yes.
Yes,
I never had any clogged ducts, but I've seen the faces of the women that have, and it
it's very
is
painful. Very
not cool.
painful.
Yeah. And so not just massaging, but it's like, I'm assuming technique and the positions and the,
Yes,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
yes, yes. It is not just massage because you can self massage. This is actually myofascial release with specific tissue techniques for the breast tissue
Yeah.
to alleviate the clogged ducts and the mastitis.
And then after they go to an appointment or two with you, is that something they're able to continue to do on their own to either prevent or if they get another clogged duct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Once they
I'm
experience
happy
it.
to share, yeah, self-treatment techniques. Yeah.
Cool. 'Cause I'm wondering
Once
people
it's
that, like, don't have access to you or someone like you,
sure.
right? If they were able to have, refer to a video or refer to a link of like, hey, or I don't know, even take a call to guide you through something like that. Um, I love our audience to have, access to people like you, even if they're in the middle of nowhere, they don't have access to a whole lot. So yeah, we'll include more stuff all in the show notes because I guarantee at one point there's going to be someone that's like, I have that right now. I can't go see Gwen. I don't live in California, right? How can I fix this now? And then you'll be able to click on some links and then we'll be able to, help you out.
100%. I can share something for the show notes. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So I think we scheduled like 6 sessions and we'll see
Yes.
how well, that works. And she's great about like, let's nail them down now. And I'm like, well, let's just put 'em for next week. And she's like, through December, let's nail them down now. Right. She's a big advocate for your health and getting you on the right track and feeling better now. And so we scheduled out, every like 5, 6, 7 days to get our 6 sessions in. How many, and maybe it's case by case basis, but what have you found to be the amount of sessions that it takes to start feeling better, whatever kind of the problem might be?
Oh, that is such a great question. And I wish I had an answer that was
Yeah.
super easy. So, depending on how long you've had your pain and what the cause is, usually within 6 sessions, the first 6 sessions will have a really good idea of how you respond to the work, and that'll give us some idea. Although I like to say, I won't say no to the miracle. I was working with a gal who had a frozen shoulder, and she'd had that for 8 years, and nothing seemed to work. And I worked with her once, and she was able to release the frozen shoulder entirely. So I won't say no
Wow.
to the miracle, but
Sure.
that's not common. I also had
Yeah.
another frozen shoulder. It was 18 sessions.
Okay.
So I just, set that expectation that anything is possible, but it is not a quick fix. So we start with 6 and then we see where we're going and how the treatment's working. And I'm always happy to refer out, or if I feel like, maybe a chiropractor would be the right answer. I want to be an advocate for you because you deserve to feel great. People really deserve to feel better because they're nicer when they feel better. And that's what I like.
100%, right? I often said if like everyone if everyone could have just like get worked out, like if this kind of treatment was covered, right, and paid for and required, that we would just go around a half an inch taller, right? We'd go around just feeling better. And that's true. When you feel better, you're nicer. And I think as, you know, typically, I don't know, as moms, we put everyone else first. You know what I mean? We put all our
Exactly.
kids first, our animals first. And we're the ones that hold everything together. So if we're not feeling good. And if we're in pain all the time, it's going to have a trickle down effect to our family, and that's going to affect our community, and that's going to affect our, our kids' friends. Like, you'd be surprised the impact that, women have in the lives of everyone around her. So if we are just able to feel better, advocate for yourselves to feel better, go see a Gwen, go check out her website, go research, get more information. You had a case where it was like a toddler or something, you like wasn't sleeping.
Oh yeah. He
Right? I
started
mean, that's like a
grinding.
mom's miracle. Share that story real quick.
So he was 2 years old and he started grinding his teeth to the point where it was keeping everybody in the household up. Like through the walls, he was grinding his teeth, and they've been trying to figure out what's going on. He came to me, I want to say maybe a month ago, 2 treatments. He's not grinding, and he stopped snoring as well. That was another thing that we worked on.
Wow.
So
I
yeah,
need to send you my
before.
husband.
Yeah, absolutely. I work with snoring husbands all the time. The first time I worked with my husband on his snoring, he actually stopped snoring for 6 weeks. And then I had to do a touch up. So I'm not going to lie, it's not it depends on also what the cause of the snoring is. But yeah, it's
True.
something we can address.
Because listen, girlfriend, he hasn't even been sleeping. He can't even sleep in the bed next to me because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
such a light sleeper, like, like you're breathing too loud, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So it's a lot on me too. He's not like a really, really loud snorer, but he does have a little bit of snoring, and like and we've tried. I'm like, maybe you can come back to the bedroom, and I'm like, nope. I end up resenting him because and we've tried all the devices and the things and the
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah. It's because there's probably fascial restrictions in his mouth, his nose, his tongue, possibly
Yeah.
his ears, and they're not being addressed because people who are not myofascial release therapists don't focus on the fascia. It's nothing against other professions, but
Mhm.
they're not getting to the root cause, the possible root cause.
Yeah.
Not saying I can cure snoring, but there's a lot of hope for snoring. A
100%.
lot of hope for snoring.
Done. He is coming with me next time. That would be so great. They blame it on a bunch of different things, right? And like, until you get in there and you really know, how can you fix anything? How can you, like, shoving a machine up your nose? Like, anyway, more on that. I am so excited to get my husband in to see you then, because we learn new things every day, especially on this show. It's so fascinating. You guys, I'm so excited. You don't understand. The snoring dilemma has been like a thing. And I feel like I finally have hope, right? And Gwen is giving me hope, even to like, let's get these headaches. I mean, it's, you guys, it's been like I would say I've had a constant headache for maybe 6, 7 weeks, and it's not normal. It's not normal. We shouldn't just have to buck up and be like, well, this is my life now. I guess I have headaches, right? We deserve to get treatment and get real help, even if that means like I went here and here. Go here, right? Keep trying. And so I was super happy that Gwen came up to me again at a networking event, and I was like, yes, we need to do this. We need to make it happen, and then we need to share all the good news. That's so great. I want you guys to check out her. I'm going to just say it out loud too. Check out her information on myofascial release. You can go to www.performancemfr.com. That's www.performancemfr.com. And of course, there'll be a link in the show notes too with other information you can click on. If you're in the California, how you can physically work with Gwen. She is just wonderful. I'm like, let me sum up one word: wonderful, right? She's smart and she gets it, and she is specific. You don't just go in there and she starts poking around. Like, there's the whole thing you got to fill out. We got to nail down all the different things before we treat, right? So she's very great about taking all the information and then asking a lot of questions, and then applying that to your treatment. And so anyway, we will wrap up. Oh my gosh, I might have even done it. You guys, we did it within 25 minutes. It's a miracle, because usually I'm just chatty Kathy and I can't get it under 30 minutes. And my podcast producer's like, you gotta cut it down. I'm like, I know, but I just love to talk to all the people. I just have to know that if there's more to follow up on, we can always do a part 2. But anyway, Gwen, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Final words of wisdom. I'll have you do the final words of wisdom. They're sick of hearing my voice.
Well, I just want to offer everybody hope, especially if you've been told that there's nothing left you can do, or you're going to have surgery, or come and check out myofascial release. And if not with me, we have lots of fellow John Barnes trained myofascial release therapists all over the country. So if you can't get with me, I know there's someone reasonably close. Take advantage of it, because fascial restrictions play a much bigger role in our pain than we realize. And that's all I have to say about that. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Thank you for joining us on today's show. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this episode if you feel like it would resonate with someone, or you know of someone in pain that needs more answers and think that this might be the answer for them. Please, please, please share the episode. And until next time, we'll see you.